Hey guys, so I saw Az from Heel versus Babyface talk about this, and this is ridiculous. So we have Edge of Spider-Verse. This is Edge of Spider-Verse number 4, and this is the hero. So this person here, Spider They, because I mean, quite frankly, we don't know. This is what they look like. You can tell they're super gazies. I don't know what they had. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna call her she because it's a fictional character, so I really don't care if I hurt her feelings. Um, but she wants everyone to know that she's like super gazies, guys. Um, so she's also Spider-Man or Spider Person, Spider Girl, Spider Woman. But so she's got her like walkers, her crutches, and like web shooters, which is kind of a cool idea. But she's got her fucking uh wheelchair strapped to her back with the web. Um, Now, since she's in a wheelchair, she obviously can't use her legs. So, Az brought this up. So, imagine you're standing there and you see this fucking person flying above you and you just see their legs flopping all over the place as they're swinging along. And when you're a superhero and you show up, you want the villain to be scared of you. You want them to know that you mean business and you're there to defeat them. The villain's standing there, and fucking this person comes swinging in, their legs are flopping every which direction. You really think that's gonna instill fear into the heart of the villain? No. But um, this is what they're doing with characters now. I mean, we've got the gay box checked, we've got disabled box checked, we've got possible they them checked. Uh, and it's not going to be a well written character because they never are. And I have nothing wrong with that. Disabled characters. Professor X. Everyone loves Professor X. He's been disabled for the longest fucking time, and he's a great character. Um, Barbara Gordon becomes Oracle after she gets shot by the Joker. She gets shot by the Joker, damages her spine. She becomes pretty much paralyzed. So instead of being Batgirl, she becomes Oracle, and she kind of is like an advisor. She gives advice, and I mean Oracle. I mean it's in the name. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, he's fucking blind. Hawkeye, I believe he's deaf. So there's nothing wrong with disabled characters as long as they're well written. But it seems like this is what it's going to be focused around, and it always is. They're not going to give them any real personality. And quite frankly, this should be an insult to anyone who is disabled or part of the LGBTQ plus community, because they're using you guys constantly as tools. They don't see you as anything but fucking profit, because there are idiots out there who are gonna look at this and say, "Oh my god, I can see myself in the pages of this comic book representation," and they're just gonna fucking throw money at these companies. They don't care about a well-written character. They know that even if the character is not well written, you're going to buy it because of fucking representation. So if you're disabled or you're part of that community, this shit should be insulting to you, because these characters are never well written. And that's why every single fucking time they come out with a character like this, it fails. Because all they know is, oh, we're gonna make the character gay or this or that. They make all the superficial shit first, and then they work around that. And then when people read the comics and realize how shallow these characters really are, these companies like, well, but why don't you like them? You're just a bunch of fucking homophobes. And no, it's a poorly written character. It's a poorly written character that you used because look at them, they're super gazies. Look at them, they're in a wheelchair. Representation. Like I said, it should piss people off. If I was part of that community, or if I was, in a wheelchair and I constantly saw myself being used as a fucking ploy to draw in customers, I would be fucking pissed. And unfortunately, there are some people who don't see it that way. There are some people who actually believe that these fucking companies care. You can say, oh, well, you have people on the staff who look just like them, who, they're diverse and not as diverse as you think. A lot of these people who are complaining about diversity, if you look at Marvel and whatever, I bet you're going to see a lot of white people. A lot of white people. The same people complaining about diversity keep writing these fucking terrible characters, which is kind of weird. But we got two characters down there. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with disabled characters. Like I said, Professor X, Charles Xavier, everyone loves that character. He's a really cool character. Despite being in a wheelchair, he is one of the most powerful mutants. Just his mind power, being able to infiltrate others' minds, and it's fucking crazy. Matt Murdock, like you said, Daredevil. Despite him being blind, you would never know that he was fucking blind. He's a superhero. So there's nothing wrong with disabled characters. And we've had disabled characters for ages now. But now they come out doing this stuff intentionally, trying to gotta check all those boxes. So we're gonna have her who's like a they them, super gazies, in a wheelchair. She's gonna have some fucking strong, powerful black whammon friend. Looks like there's one right down there. So we're just checking all the fucking boxes here. And again, this should be insulting to people. Because when you're going down and checking boxes, they don't care about story. They don't care about character. They don't care about personality. It's always the fucking superficial shit. Oh yeah, they're gay, and their pronouns are they, them, and she, her. But it really differs. And she's an activist, and she really believes that women should be paid more, and she's been fighting for equal rights for women. It's like, okay, what does she do in her spare time apart from apparently being an activist? I keep saying this all the time. What is it about these characters that are meant to draw us in? Because it's a comic book. Yeah, they're all nice and purty and colorful, but what about these characters draw us into them? What are you doing to make us want to read about these characters in these worlds? And because saying that they're gay and look, they're gay in a wheelchair, representation, that's not enough to draw people in. It's enough to draw in a small crowd of those fucking idiots who only care about that. But normal people don't give a flying fuck about that. We want a good story. We want well-written characters. We want something that when we're flipping from page to page, not only in addition to great art, love looking at the panels and seeing the time and dedication that went into each one. We want a gripping story. We want to care about these characters. We want to feel what they are feeling. If they're going through hardships, we want to feel bad for them. When they are triumphant, we want to be happy for them. But if all you're having is this superficial, they're gay and wheelchair and this and that and all this other crap that shouldn't matter, it's not keeping people for long. And you can just look at the comic book industry as a whole right now, because they're losing horribly. Comic books are not selling nearly as much anymore because they're all going this route. This fucking woke bullshit. It's almost like a standard now that every comic book that comes out, they have to have some kind of checkbox of things that they need. It's like, okay, we need one gay character, one black character, one this, one that. Just write whatever you feel is good. If people don't like it because it lacks diversity, fuck them. Seriously. Stop pandering to other people and just write what you feel is right. Write what you feel wants to be, what people want to see. Simple as that. Stop pandering, because clearly the pandering is not working. And that goes for everything, whether it's comic books, video games, movies. It's all pandering now. You know, all these companies come out and say, "Oh, well, we want half of the people to be of color by this year, by 2025," because obviously they have a clear agenda. We want more diversity, instead of just creating things that, you know, feel right, or to entertain. They're more focused on, well, no, we want to represent what's in the real world right now, but why? We live in the real world. We can see what's being represented. We don't want, in our time of escape, this is why we read comics and play video games and watch movies and watch TV shows, is because it's an escape. Why the fuck why would we want to live in our world than go watch something that reflects our world? Like Lord of the Rings of Power. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna reflect how the world is today." Well, that's the problem. Lord of the Rings doesn't it's a fantasy world, and while yes, Tolkien did base it on the world he was living in, the real world does not have elves and dwarves and balrogs and all that other stuff. So taking parts of the real world, like fucking the racial diversity and this and that, if that's not how it was, you know, I've said before, especially with Tolkien, when he was writing those stories, the place he was living in wasn't exactly diverse. Hence why there's really no black people or any kind of color in Lord of the Rings, because the place he was living didn't have a lot of black people. Um, but again, it's like stories are meant to escape from reality. But then when they keep forcing all this, like, "Oh, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna reflect the world we're living in now." So basically, white people bad, super gazies, representation, orange man bad in there somehow. Because yes, that gets thrown in a lot into these places. So they still can't shut the fuck up about him. But this is why comic books are failing. This is why all these movies that come out now are getting bad reviews. This is why TV shows that do the same thing get bad reviews. People are tired of it. This is an escape from reality. You need to make it fantastical and just out of the world, like make no sense. That's the kind of stories we like. Where it's somewhat rooted in reality, but it's also completely out there. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but really think about it and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah." Again, there's nothing wrong with these types of characters as long as they're well written. But nowadays they never are, because all this comes first, and their personality, their likes, their dislikes, their backstory, all that comes last. All they care about is what's between their legs, what color are they, what's their fucking pronouns, who do they like to sleep with. That's what comes first, and then everything else is last. Which is why these characters never succeed, because they're shallow. They're about as deep as a puddle. And not like a puddle, like one of those puddles that, it's been raining all day and you get a pretty deep puddle. No, like this is a puddle that's been like, it rained for like a couple minutes and there's like a puddle like this fucking outside and there's like one puddle. Yeah, like that kind of puddle. Not like one of those nice deep ones. You have like a trench, a dip in the road, and you got like a freaking puddle that's that deep, and if you step in it, it's gonna be like ankle high. No, just a puddle that's about that deep. Just a little bit of water, just rained a couple minutes. Yeah, they're about as deep as that kind of puddle. And yet people keep buying the shit. Not in droves, obviously, because the comic book industry is just failing completely. But they think that, oh, look, people are buying it. Let's just keep doing it. But who are the people who keep buying it? Those fucking weirdos on Twitter who think that this outer superficial shit is all that matters. Oh my god, I don't even read comic books, but I'm gonna buy it because I'm represented. But if this has taught us one thing, also, how do they land? Their legs don't work. How do they? I see they have knee pads. They just flop down onto their fucking knees. But before I go, just remember that this spider person is swinging around the city with her legs all over the place, trying to instill fear into the hearts of the villains. And how you would feel if you looked up and you saw a spider person swinging, and you know they're just with their legs. Now, obviously, not meaning to be offensive here, but that's you have to think of the logic and the you know because this person is paralyzed, from the waist down. Their legs do not work. So what do you think it would look like seeing them swinging across? So it's not meant to poke fun, it's just being logical. But it's time to stop, guys. Marvel, DC, what you're doing is clearly not working. People are constantly making videos and articles and this and that telling you guys to stop this. Telling you guys to stop focusing so much on checking those boxes, and you don't fucking listen. Instead, we're phobes, ists, and isms. Every fucking time. And then you've got your little Twitter warriors who call us phobes, ists, and isms. Instead of listening to what we're saying, we're telling you this is an insult to people who are in wheelchairs, who have disabilities, who are members of the LGBTQ plus community. This is an insult to them because you're taking them and using them as marketing tools. And if you're a part of this community and you see nothing wrong with this and you're perfectly fine being a fucking tool for them to use, there's no helping you. At this point, there's no fucking helping you. Because you're just the type of person who's just gonna buy into it and buy into it and and they can come out and directly say that, yeah, we're using you because we know you're fucking stupid enough to buy our product, and you'll be like, well, I see no problem with this because I still have representation. But anyways, that's it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.